Welcome back, kids. Good morning for our next English session. Okay, now let's do the revision of adjectives today. An adjective is a word that tells us more about a noun. It describes or modifies a noun. An adjective often comes before a noun. Let's look at the examples of adjectives. They live in a beautiful house. We are describing the house over here, which is beautiful. That's why the adjective is beautiful. Lisa is wearing a sleeveless shirt today. So, we are describing the shirt, which is sleeveless. So, the adjective is sleeveless. This soup is yummy. So, how is the soup? Yummy. So, we're describing the soup. Adjective here is yummy. Ben is an adorable baby. Do you know, children, the meaning of the word adorable? Adorable is the meaning is cute. So, we are describing the baby here, which is adorable. So, the adjective here is adorable. Linda has long hair. How are the hair? How? Described Linda's hair as long. So, long is an adjective. This is a naughty dog. So, can you tell me another meaning for naughty? It's mischievous. Okay? So, naughty and mischievous. Both would be the adjectives. The sharp pencil writes well. So, here we're describing the pencil as sharp. So, the adjective here is sharp. So, we're going to have a small question answer in the Google form after this regarding the adjectives. And children, you will solve them. So, we will continue with our lesson about the buildings. So, here we have a new concept. How do you build a tall building? In early days, about 100 years ago, people discovered how to make long solid beams of iron, and this allowed them to start building tall buildings called skyscrapers. So, what are they saying here? 100 years ago, there were new inventions. Every year you would find that something new has been discovered or invented. The similar way, there were new inventions and builders discovered or invented the beams of iron, which were allowed them to start building tall buildings, and these tall buildings were called skyscrapers. Later, people learned how to make beams of steel, which is lighter, so builders could build even taller buildings. So, as the years went by, they also discovered that having the beams of steel was easier than iron, and with the beams of steel they could even build taller buildings. Okay, so now let's see how the actual frame of the building is made. First, builders dig lots of holes deep into the ground to support the weight of the building. So, what is the first stage? Can you see that in the picture here? The first picture? Yes. They used to dig deep holes inside the ground, as deep as they could. That was for the support of the building. Then, they put very long poles of steel rods into the holes and fill the holes with cement to keep the rods upright. So, what was done later? In those deep holes, they started inserting the rods of steel, the steel rods. And in order to make them strong and hold upright, they filled up those holes, the deep holes, with the cement. So, it could hold those steel rods very tight and steady. Then they put joining rods across the uprights so they can make floors. So once they had put the vertical rods inside the deep holes, they started to put the similar kind of rods horizontal on the uprights. And what did happen after that? The entire thing was made up as a frame. So these rods, the horizontal rods which was put across the upright rods, made the floors of the building. Okay? Then making rooms. Finally, the builders use glass and concrete to fill in the gaps between the steel poles to make rooms with walls, floors, and ceilings. So once the frame was ready, what did the builders do? They used the glass and concrete to fill in the gap. So here in picture number 3, we can still see the gaps. So how were they filled? They were filled by building the walls and the floors. And how were they built? The builders used glass and concrete to fill in the gaps. So this is how the entire structure was made. Okay. Now here I can see one more question. The words tall and more have an OR sound. Can you find 2 more words in the text with that sound? I can see both of them. I'm going to tell you one, but you will have to find the other. Okay? I can see the word floors. Okay? The floor has the OR sound. And as a homework, I want you to find the other one. Next page, we are going to see the question answers on this. Okay, now let's look at these question answers. What happened 100 years ago to allow people to build the skyscrapers? And what is the answer? 100 years ago, people discovered how to make long solid beams of iron, and this allowed them to build skyscrapers. Please write these question answers in your notebook. What is the first thing that is done when a building is a skyscraper? The first thing that is done is digging the deep holes into the ground to support the weight of the building when the building is a skyscraper. What do the rods that go across the upright rods do? The rods that go across the upright rods, what do? Yes, they make floors. Why do you think the tall buildings are called skyscrapers? Okay, now I think that they're called skyscrapers because they are so tall that they almost touch the sky and scrape it. But children, you can have your own answer. You can have your own imagination also over here. Okay? So, please write these question answers. I'm going to put up the image of these question answers at the end of our Google Forms. Thank you.